So I wanted to do something every now and again on a Sunday. It's just basically just going to be like a video journal. It's going to be my thoughts, ramblings, bitching and moaning about certain things. So this won't be every Sunday, just every now and again when I've got something to actually contribute. So maybe I should call it Sunday Soapbox, I don't know. Anyway, so last night I was reading David Shoemaker's Living Thelema, A Practical Guide. And in the chapter about true will, he says, where is it again? Think of yourself as the prophet of your own angel. This is referring to the holy guardian angel. As the high priest or priestess of a religion you are developing that is yours alone. The aim of that religion is to deepen, intensify, and delineate with ever-increasing clarity the mystical and magical procedures that effectively invoke your holy guardian angel. And this kind of sparked some inspiration in me. Just a thought came to me, which I wanted to share. So, I'm not saying this is true. I'm not saying this is how it is. This was just a thought that came to me and something to maybe consider. So, in a spiritual path and in religion, we, most of the time, the aim is to reach the source. Let's put it that way. And that is a case of deepening our relationship and our communication with the source, whether that source to you is God, whether that source to you is Satan, whatever that source is, the overlying energy. I'm not even going to call it an entity, because it's not an entity. It's an energy. It's a power that permeates everything and permeates the universe and the cosmos. So quite often the aim of the religion is to deepen that relationship and bring yourself closer to the source. So I just want some coffee. So with that in mind, consider the possibility that one's own holy guardian angel is the source. And each person has their own holy guardian angel. And the whole idea behind it is to become closer to the holy guardian angel. Now, you can call holy guardian angel many different things. It could be spirit guide, it could be your higher self, but consider that the holy guardian angel is actually God, is the source, is the power, the all, the mind, whatever you call your God, your source. But the holy guardian angel is that source. And when we speak to or speak about gods, goddesses, demons, nature spirits, all of those beings and entities that are of a divine intelligence, and therefore I'm going to use the word demon or daemon in terms of that divine intelligence. So when we speak of the daemons, you get two schools of thoughts. Well, you probably get more, but I mean, you get your theists and your deists. So some will understand these entities as being separate. They are entities that are separate to ourselves, that you go and commune with, you go and talk to, you work with, you aspect them to add energy to your magical practice, etc., etc. But then you get those who believe that these divine intelligences are not separate, they are archetypes. So what if all of those entities, all of those deities, all of those nature spirits are merely aspects of the Holy Guardian Angel, and they're just energetic representations of particular things. So, I mean, if you look at the gods and goddesses, each god and goddess has a particular aspect and correspondence, and the Frey from the Nordic traditions is very much in control of harvest, bounty, abundance. He's also very much about policing and peace, with the word frith. And then you get his sister Freya, who is a warrior, and she's also very sexual, very erotic. So you got all these different energies that relate to different parts of our being, really. From the light to the really primal dark stuff. So I started considering the possibility that the Holy Guardian Angel is the source, but all of these deities and all of these divine intelligences and beings and entities and nature spirits and daemons and demons and what have you are merely just aspects of the Holy Guardian Angel. They are energies. And each one of them, we may call them the same name. For instance, I may refer to Pan, and you might refer to Pan. But my Pan is not your Pan, and your Pan is not my Pan. They are completely different because they are subject to our own interpretation, and I'm going to say our own true will. So each interpretation of a particular being, a particular entity, is different for everybody. We put our own intentions into that being. We put our own will into it. We put our own aspects into it. I mean, if I consider Belial, I'll read something from somebody else about Belial, who's they're a black magician, and they I'm going to say they go into all the doom and gloom of black magic, the real primal stuff, and sinister, and Belial becomes this completely different entity and energy that I've come to know. For me, Belial is the same as Freya. Now, Belial has become my patron demon. But years back, I dedicated myself to Frey. And I found it quite interesting. I only realized it afterwards that the two are connected and the two are very similar. But that's my interpretation. It might not be the same for everybody else. So somebody else might not see Belial as being the same as Frey. Because that's how he's presented himself to me. But when I say he's presented himself to me in that way, has he actually presented himself, or is that what the energy that comes from my holy guardian angel has created? So all the gods and goddesses, all the divine intelligences, all the entities, all the nature spirits, they become our interpretations, so we create them all. And on one level we create them collectively, but on another level we create them individually. Now, this does bring up the question of, if you look back in ancient times, we do say, when you look back in ancient times, there were gods and goddesses before man. But were there? We can't really know. There was nobody around to actually record anything, because it was before man. So the only way we could know that is by speaking to and channeling these particular entities. But even in that, quite often we as human beings tend to put our own interpretations into things. So over thousands of years and millennia, and going back a long, long time, a bit like broken telephone, you could say. It's the interpretation has varied, has changed over those millennia. So I'm not really sure. I'm not really sure if this whole thing of gods and goddesses existing before man is reality. You may notice that I question a lot of things, and I'm the kind of person that won't stick to one thing and believe it and think that that's it for the rest of my life. I constantly adapt, because new information comes up, new evidence, and my beliefs then need to adapt to what that becomes. And this is basically what I'm doing now. I've been doing this for years. I've been going backwards and forwards as to whether the divine intelligences are separate entities or whether they are archetypes. But when I'm talking about this holy guardian angel, the energies that come out of it and form the deities that we worship, it feels a bit more than archetype. Maybe my interpretation of archetype is incorrect. But it's not just aspects of our mental capacity, of our mind, of our subconscious. It's beyond that. It's because the holy guardian angel, to me, is beyond that. It's something bigger. For me, the holy guardian angel is the separate part. It is a separate being. But at the same time, it's not. Okay, this could get very confusing. It's a bit like the puppet master, actually, if I think about it. Not in a bad way. But it's this entity which is bigger than us. It's the source of things. And everybody's is different. But at the same time, if you consider going back to the center, it's kind of like a connection to the center. So, can we move beyond the holy guardian angel? I don't know yet. I'll have to discover that at some point. Anyway, I'm going to stop this video here because I am going to start rambling because it's going to be back and forth because my thoughts are going back and forth. But I wanted to put this out there, just something to consider. If you've got any thoughts, please comment. I'd love to hear them. And that's it. Have a great week ahead. Cheers.